Okay, I've been using the AeroPress for about 4 months now, so I thought it about time to put a bit of review up of the product and how I use it. The instructions do explain 2 ways of using the AeroPress. I'm going to show you the inverted method, which I think is easier and less likely to spill. But basically what you've got is 2 parts, and it's basically like a syringe. So you've got like a chamber in there, and there's a rubber seal on the end of this piece, and when you push this plunger through, you basically push in the coffee and the liquid through a paper filter there into your cup. So I shall just show you how this works. So like I say, this is the inverted method. Now you do get a scoop, like a coffee measure thing. I use one of these full of coffee beans, grind them, and then put the little funnel in there, put the coffee in there. So we're at that stage now. We've got a kettle with just boiled water. Now the idea is you're not supposed to generally put just boiled water onto coffee, because it kind of burns it and gives it a bitterish sort of taste. So you can either wait a few minutes for that to cool down. I think the optimum's about 80 degrees C. But what I like to do is to just pour the water into the cup. That serves 2 purposes. The heat from the water goes into the cup and warms the cup nicely, and it also lowers the temperature of the water. I have checked this numerous times, and it's around about the 80 degrees C, so I'm not to a couple of degrees. So this is basically the way that I would do this. So water into the AeroPress and give that a stir for about 10 seconds. You do get a black plastic stirring sort of blade in with the kit, which I don't tend to use. It's a bit clumsy. So give that a stir for about 10 seconds. Like I say, you've already got 1 filter paper in the filter end. You do get quite a few. That goes on the top, and then you wait for about a minute, and that's sufficient to get the flavour out of the coffee. So we'll come back in a minute. Okay, so a minute later, and now what we do is we invert this over the cup. So we do that in one movement. We don't want any leaks or any drips to go all over the work surface, so we'll just turn that up like that. Now you shouldn't get much coming out there at this stage. You can get the odd drip, but that's about it. So what we need to do now is we need to apply pressure to the plunger and push all that coffee through the filter and into the cup. So you can use 1 hand, but I find it easy to do 2, and you just basically just the weight of your hands on top of the AeroPress, and it should take around about 20 seconds to push all that liquid through. Now when it gets down to the bottom, you'll just see in there that there is you can just see in there there's coffee, then there's like a section of air in there, so you'll hear when that air starts to go through the filter, and then you know it's all the water's through. There you go, push that down to the bottom. So let the last few drips come out. That's that. And you can top that up with water, because you don't get generally a full cup. It's like a concentrated sort of slug of coffee, if you will. So then you'd put either coffee mate or milk or whatever you put in there, or just drink it black. To get rid of the sort of little puck of coffee you get in there, you can just take that off and take that over to the bin like that, and then just fire that in, and then whatever little bits you've got on there, you can just rinse those.
So this is a review of the AeroPress coffee maker, and I want to start by saying I bought one 5.5 years ago. This was the original one. Been very happy with it, but it has deteriorated enough at this point, more than 5 years, that I decided to get a new one. And there are some differences. First, let me show you what happens over time. I don't know if you can see, there's crazing inside, and if you see it this way, but so that can cause water to leak around when you press it in here. You can kind of see it goes from tight to loose there. Now, I imagine some of this may be just because of, with age, this part's broken down. But anyway, almost everything is identical. The funnel and the filter holder and these parts are unchanged. But the two main components are made out of evidently a new plastic, and maybe that's because they've just figured out that that would work better and wouldn't suffer the crazing problem that I had with the original. You know, it arrives really quite snug, which is good. Makes great coffee. I've used other methods, including French press. I'm convinced that this is the ideal way to make a single cup of coffee.